There comes a time in life where we like to sit back and reminisce or recollect about things that we've done or been through or experiences we faced in life. The other night I'm sitting down relaxing watching The Wire, which is an excellent series and very realistic, might I add. And then it dawned on me. Was I groomed by the older dudes in my neighborhood to be a drug dealer, a corner boy, a hustler? Was I solicited at a young age to be put into that situation to move packs? Wow. Right here in the next episode of the Pure Vibes Podcast Show. Greetings, family, and welcome to episode number 4 of the Pure Vibes Podcast Show. I am your host, Shaka Heru, aka the Far Rider Fresh King, and I want to say greetings to all. Welcome. I hope everyone is doing great out there, staying safe and healthy, and doing everything that they have to do to protect themselves in these crazy times. Episode number 4 of the Pure Vibes Podcast Show. Thank you for coming and rock out with your boy once again. You know, since I had a little free time on my hands, I've been sitting back and watching The Wire. The Wire is an excellent series and an excellent TV show. As I'm sitting there watching The Wire, I start to reminisce, recollect, or revisit some things in my mind. And then it dawned on me. Was I groomed, solicited, and influenced to be a corner boy, a drug dealer, a hustler at a young age? I don't know. But as I sit back and I study that theory now, I think to myself, yes, I was. There's an episode in The Wire where there's a young man that's going to school and Marlo and Chris are watching this youth, as he's going to school and he's looking to be a stand-up guy and he's looking to be very dedicated to his friends and his community and his neighborhood where he come from. Might be in about junior high school, or middle school, whatever you want to call it. And the local hustlers realize this about this youth. So by them realizing this about this youth, they take heed, and then they want to, they take note, basically, of this youth and the way he moves and he carries himself in the neighborhood and the community. And they approach him with an offer. See him going to school, doing what he has to do and what he should be doing. But that gives them more influence to want to go to this youth and approach him, to put him down, to be a corner boy for the hustlers. This thing brought back some memories to me, It made me realize what I went through as a youth around the age of 15, 16, There was an individual that grew up in my neighborhood. He was well known, he did his thing. He was getting money back in the money era, back in the 90s. And I seen him all the time as a kid growing up. I grew up in a very sheltered, protected home where certain things my parents wanted to keep me away from. But it was in a community that we grew up in, so it was kind of hard not to see these things. And when I started to understand what was going on and why these guys were hanging out in the corners and what they were doing on the corners, then I realized what was going on. But eventually one day, you see these guys every day, they see you every day, and they say, hey, shorty, what's up? Hold $1, hold $2. Make sure you're going to school. Keep doing your thing. Don't be out here in the streets. And they kick a little knowledge to you, trying to keep you on the rightful path. But then you get to the age of 14 and 15. And when you start to reach these ages, these are the ages where they're looking to start to groom and solicit you. I just remember one day coming home from the store one day, and this guy that I seen since I was a youth coming up in like elementary school, just coming up and always seeing him on the corner, he stopped me one day and he asked me, he said, yo, what up, man? What you doing out here to, get money? And I said, what do you mean? So I told him, nothing much really, And then he looked at me and he said, you know what, I gotta wait for you to make some money. Me being naive and young and not really understanding what was going on at the time, he told me to follow him somewhere. So I followed him. We went up to a block that was a very known, heavy, drug-moving block in my neighborhood. He took me to somebody else. Now that I think about it, I almost feel like I got pimped a little bit, you know, and not in the sense of sexual pimping, but in the sense of mental manipulating into making money. So as he took me to this dude put me in a position to start selling drugs. Now, I knew right from wrong, but it's the way the mental manipulation of the situation went. It was almost kind of like, you ain't making no money, you wanna sell this right here? It was just kind of like, here, hold this pack, homie gonna come on the corner, and you're gonna give him that package right there. And I didn't really understand or really know what I was doing. I just thought that I was just giving a package until I realized what was going on. I was already full-fledged, caught in the middle of hustling. Now, this is a time where crack is really big in Brooklyn and it's booming, and there's a lot of money flowing with this. And we used to get packages of crack that used to be at least $260 a pack, and we used to flip about 8 of those a day. So 8 to 9 of those, maybe 10 of those a day, depending on what time of the day it was. We would get out there at 5 o'clock in the morning, and we'd work shifts, and it would be like a real job. It would be just like how you seen it going down on the wire. You know what I mean? This was that era, you know? But it's the way that the older guys in the neighborhood would look at you as a young kid and be grooming you to get involved with these kind of things. You know what I mean? Now that I look back on it, it could be a very dangerous thing, and it's a cycle that seems to carry on within our communities a lot of times. And some of us don't make it out of there. Luckily for me, I had a strict family and good parents that cared about me and made sure that I did the right things that I was supposed to do, because if they would have known me for doing anything different than that, it would have been hell to pay, you know? So I try to keep a lot of things I did in the street, and when I came at home, try to keep that like totally different and separate from the streets, you know what I mean? But these are things to look out for. This is the reason I'm bringing this up, because as I look back at the wire and I think about these young kids being solicited and groomed to sell drugs, and their mind being so young and easy to manipulate, you know, and easy to influence, it just reminds me to look out for your kids and the people that they might come in contact with, or the people that they might go around, because you never know what's being influenced on your kids or what's being pushed on your kids. Yeah, so you have to be vigilant of the friends and the company your kids keep and who they go around and the influence that they're bringing into their lives, because it can lead them to destruction or down a very bad path of no return, you know? So just looking at the wire really sparked that into my psyche and really had me thinking how that grooming process really works, and how people could watch you from a very young age, see you come up, keep track of you, and then put you in these positions to where they're gonna end up making money off of you later on, or using you to make money for them later on, you know. And the money we were making, when you think about it, it was definitely highway robbery. We were definitely better off going to get a 9-to-5 job and working that instead of, you know, the money that we were making and the risks we were taking to make that money. Because trust me, it was a lot of risks involved, and it was a lot of having to deal with the police and see the police involvement going on with that. Luckily, I never really got jammed up for any serious drug crimes or anything like that, because the way we did our thing at that time was very low-key and very quiet, you know? The things we got locked up for were like silly shit, like trespassing on the block. But while we were trespassing, we were out there trying to get money, but they would just never catch us in the mix of doing what we were doing. Well, luckily we live in a different era and a different time right now, you know what I mean? So those things might not be as prominent as it was in my time, in my era coming up. I came up in the era where it was crack vials all over the ground, in the playground, in your backyard, and places that you went. It was just a different time and a different era, you know? So these things were like very prevalent and very much rampant in the streets, and it was like what mostly every young kid my age was doing, and what every older dude or OG in the hood were trying to solicit and groom younger kids my age to do, you know. So these are things we might want to look out for, man, because we want to not destroy our communities and not destroy our people in our communities with the drugs. But it was a thing that we had to do at a certain time to get money to survive and to make ends meet in the street. I don't know what's going on in this era, but I can tell you in my time coming up, they definitely solicited and groomed you as a youth to come up to be a corner boy, to be a hustler, you know. So just watching the YA and seeing the reality of that brought back that memory to the forefront, you know, to make me just want to discuss that today. So be wary of the youths and the company that they keep and the things that they're mixing up and getting involved with, because sometimes you get involved with things and you end up in a path of no return or a path of destruction. Yeah, family, don't forget, Mad Towel t-shirts on sale now. You can cash at me at Elijah Far Right at Cash App with your size, and I'll get those shipped out to you ASAP. Yeah, well, this has been episode number 4 of the Pure Vibes podcast with your host, Shaka Hiru, aka the Far Right, the Fresh King, saying peace, love, and prosperity. Until next time.